Alright, is this thing working? I think it is. Let me get water real quick. Hold on. Pardon me. Let me take you full. And a good evening, everyone. We got a lot to talk about here in this late weather discussion. There was a severe thunderstorm warning that was just dropped down the Delmarva that's been rolling through the southern counties for a while. So let me just take you full here. We'll take you to the top. Here you go. This is our activity down here in the Delmarva right now. Salisbury's getting hammered. Pocomoke City, you're getting in on this. And then there's more warnings. For some reason, there's still a severe thunderstorm warning for Sussex County. That's still up. I'm assuming Mount Holly will be taking care of that here soon. But the Wakefield office dropped that warning for that southern complex. And this has been one that's been very interesting because it's done some damage. It's had a history of doing damage, as a matter of fact. So let me just take you back in time here. We'll go. What do I want to do? Let's do. I'm trying to find storm reports. I think this is it. Yes, it is. So we'll do wind damage. Turn on tornadoes for the sake of it, even though I haven't heard of anything. And then we will turn on hail in the last 3 hours. This will pop up with some wind damage reports. 6 hours? No. Yeah, 6 hours. You can see the damage across northern and central Virginia. And then in the last 3 hours, we've had some damage across southern Maryland, in particular in Charles County with this complex. So, yes, this storm has meant business for a while across the southern tier of the state. Let me do a couple things here real quick so you can see what's happened. Let's go with, why not 100 frames, and then we'll play this out. And I just want you to look at this. You can see these storms roll through and start to make their way eastward. Actually, 100 frames might be a little much. Sorry. Let's go with 50. I think 50 would suit us. It had an outage, and then back this morning, and then here comes this evening with the storms. It just got back online. The Dover radar, you could see it move through the Delmarva region. I actually play this out from the Sterling radar. Hopefully, this will yield better results here. This is going to be the last really 4 hours. You could see the cluster of storms that run across northern Virginia that intensified as it went through southern Maryland, and then really organized itself over the Chesapeake Bay and the Potomac River, and now is just slamming into the Delmarva region, kind of falling apart now. What we have to watch out for is this next batch, and let me just do this here. We gotta watch this, that it's out towards the 81 corridor, because that's round 2. That's heading for us. We missed out on the first round here in Metro Baltimore and most of Metro DC, for that matter, with the exception of the Southern Metro. That's going to be heading our way, and that could be a little bit more potent for us, at least in the short term. Also, by the way, if you have loved ones up towards the Pittsburgh area, there's a tornado warning still in effect for this severe thunderstorm complex that's moving through Pittsburgh now. Let me check velocities on this while I got you here. No real rotation as far as the base velocity. SRVs, well, there's a little bit. It's trying to form near Green Tree and Interstate 376 here on the southwest side of Pittsburgh. So if you have anybody, loved ones here on the south side of Pittsburgh, over towards Dormont and Homestead, they just dropped the warning. That's good news. But do be mindful that there are some winds in excess of 60 miles per hour still possible with this, and spin ups are still now the realm of possibility. Tornado dynamics and the potential for tornadoes today and tonight are still rather favorable up to the north of the Mason-Dixon, so just keep that in mind. Back down here, we have to watch for this second round, and that's going to be the one that will be coming for us later on. Let me do this real quick. We'll turn off alerts and let's talk the models here. And I'll pull up HRRR because I think it does a good job of keying in on this. So here's the HRRR from the last hour. You can see 8 o'clock. The storms are basically right now approaching the 81 corridor, if not along 81. By 9, we're starting to see the intensification of this round. And then onwards, here's 10 o'clock. We're starting to approach I-270. We're starting to approach the I-95 corridor, US 15, I-70. It looks like if you're heading out west later on tonight, you might want to keep this in mind because this could be a mess. And then here's 11 o'clock and just a mess of rain and thunder, lightning. Could see some severe weather still with this. So for those in Metro Baltimore who are like, I didn't get anything, don't let your guard down because this round is going to be coming through later on tonight, at least after sunset for a good chunk of us out west, and then probably towards 11 o'clock midnight for a lot of us in the metro and points eastward. Delmarva, you could see a round 2 with this. It's very much possible that there is a round 2 after this round for the Delmarva and Salisbury and OC. That would be closer to midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning, even as late as 2 a.m. for some, as these storms move through in more of a congealed line. They organize themselves, and it looks a lot more built, a lot more organized in its structure. So Delmarva, you do want to keep that in mind. We may have some lingering showers throughout the night through sunrise potentially for some of us, but I think by the time sunrise comes around, a lot of us will be drying out. And then the good news behind this is that there is really nothing after we get through this stretch here. So that's the timeline within the next 12 to 16 hours. And let's just check out the big radar picture. Let's put on our alerts again, and we might as well put on the fronts here because this is associated with a cold front that's going to be moving through. And this is going to organize itself later tonight for a lot of us, but good news is behind this, nothing. And we will get some much needed relief at least for a couple days. Thursday looks good, Friday looks good, but the weekend looks unsettled, warm, muggy, humid, and more thunderstorm chances. Oh, by the way, if you have loved ones towards NYC or northern Jersey, the Hudson Valley, they got severe thunderstorms rolling their way right now. A considerable damage tag for this storm that's rolling into New York City from the west. And this will include Staten Island. This just comes short of Manhattan. I think this hits the Hudson River and then basically, doesn't hit Manhattan to any degree. But for those in Newark and Elizabeth and Wayne, West Milford, Hackensack, Jersey City, there is this storm, a pretty intense one by the looks of it. And I'll pull up the next rad for you so you can see this. That is fairly strong and could pack 70-mile-per-hour winds. So, yes, very much let any loved ones in northern Jersey, New York City know that this is heading their way, and this does pack a punch with the potential for 70-mile-per-hour winds. So, there is that. Storms going back up into northeastern Pennsylvania. Got the second round here working across the Pittsburgh Metro, southwestern Pennsylvania, so to speak. Let me check. Let's switch back to reflectivity so you are used to the radar that you're seeing. There's that storm in southwest PA. There's our storms back up towards NYC. And then there's a new severe thunderstorm warning that recently dropped here. This is going to be pretty much all of Worcester County, far eastern Somerset, and eastern portions of Wycomico County. This will go until 8:30. I had to do the calculation on that time. I'm like 38 minutes from right now. That's 8:30. So give me a second here. I will pull up the information on that for you off screen. And this was issued not too long ago. So let's do this. What are you doing? this. This is going to be the Wakefield office, and this is it. Okay. So this doesn't actually clip Somerset. This comes up to the Wycomico River, or the Pocomoke River, so to speak, and then just cuts it off there. But this is going to be eastern Wycomico County and pretty much all Worcester County here until 8:30. At 7:48, a line of severe thunderstorms were located extending from near Gumboro to near Parsonsburg to near Snow Hill, moving east at 30 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are the main hazard with this storm. OC, Pocomoke City, Berlin, Snow Hill, Cape Isle of Wight, Ocean Pines, Parsonsburg, Newark, West Pocomoke, Pittsville, Willards, Bishop, Ocean City Municipality, Goodwill, Longridge, Cedartown, Powellville, Shoal, Mount Wesley, and Beaver Dam are in the path of this severe thunderstorm. So, for those in Worcester County and Eastern Wycomico County, you're already going through it in Eastern Wycomico County. I mean, Pittsville, Parsonsburg, Powellville, you're in on it right now. Willards, it's about to hit you now. Nasawango Hills, Snow Hill, Pocomoke City, over towards Box Iron Landing, Harbor Acres, Owl Hollow Acres, Goodwill. This is right around your area right now. So, Taylor Landing, Scarborough Landing, Public Landing. There's Box Iron. So, Box Iron Landing should be right there. It is. So, Girdle Tree as well. So, that's that particular complex that I talked about at the start of the stream. That is moving eastward. Let me pull up some cameras here because this is going to get real interesting real fast. So, let's check. Which one do I want to do? Eastern Shore, Delmarva. I'm going to do a couple of them, actually. So, hang tight. Let's try, what is this, 94th. Let's try the camp at 94th. I need to do something real quick. Add it. Let's close the tabs and save ourselves some resources. It's loading still. Forgive me. Let's save some resources. Hopefully this will pop up for me. Technology. It's great when it works. It's a pain when it doesn't. But I got 94th, I think. Okay, I got 94th here. So let's do this. Come on. There you go. All right, so this is at 94th. Here. And that's going to be 94th. I'm going to zoom in and really give you an idea of where that is. So where are we at right now? We're in the 60s. We're at the 70th Street. There's 94th. That's going to be around Little Salisbury. So this is 94th on the north side. To the right, it's basically looking southward. So to the right side is going to be the is going to be the bay. This is going to be Assawoman Bay and Isle of Wight Bay. And then to the left is going to be the ocean here, since we're looking southward. To the left, that's the coastline, that's the Atlantic, and then the bay is on the right. So we're going to be looking at the right side if we are going to see anything interesting here within the next little bit. And I'll expand this so you can see what I'm talking about here. But that's basically where we are at the moment. That's at 94th Street cam, and there's nothing really to note for right now. It's kind of the calm before the storm, basically, which is good for now. But again, things could ramp up here. Not too long from now. Let's take this out, and I want to do. Let's do this. Which one do we want to take next? Let's take the camera at 75th, a little bit further south, and that's out. Fishing pier. Take the one at the fishing pier right now. And this is a little interesting here. Hang on. Where are you? There you are. And we're going to bring this up. This is from the fishing pier. You can see the darkening sky back to the west as the people are still there and they're fishing, but don't want to be out there too long because within the next 30 minutes, you got a thunderstorm that's heading your way. So just got to be aware of that. Hopefully with the darkening sky, they'll know, hey, there's a thunderstorm that's moving in our direction and we got to take shelter here sooner rather than later. But that's the view from the fishing pier here at Ocean City, here in Ocean City. Let's do I have the commander? We got the commander. Okay. This is going to be 14th in the board. This is going to be 14th Street, the commander. All right. And then I'll pull this up here. So this is the view from the commander at 14th and the boardwalk and the beach. The darkening skies to the west on the right side of the screen. You can see the Atlantic, the water's there, and people are kind of starting to take notice as well, hopefully, with this. But that's a view from the commander. And then, do I have any more that I could take here? Ocean 1 at First. This is going to be at First Street. This is going to be right by the Ferris wheel here. And skies, I don't know if it's the camera contrast or what, but it is darkening there at the First Street cam there over by the Ocean 1 Hotel. There's still a lot of people out, by the way, which is a little concerning. But again, these storms are still a little bit out, maybe 25 to 30 minutes out. These are moving at 30 miles per hour, so I can actually do a track on this. So hang on. We're going to do this. And we'll do controls, get our track. Do I have the line or do I have the? Oh, I don't have the line yet. Give me a second. All right. Winds are also starting to pick up, notably. Let's go into our linear. And I think this should pop up for us. This is moving at 30 miles per hour, so that will be in Newark pretty shortly. Heading towards, let's say, Berlin at 8:15. Heading down the list here, you got Taylorville 8:21. Ocean Pines at 8:25. I'll minimize this a little bit so you can see it, the track. If it does get into Ocean City here, here's West OC. We're talking 8:26, and I'd imagine OC shortly after that. So you got about 20 to 25 minutes in Ocean City before this heads through. And that's already getting to the 113 corridor, really, within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So for those in OC, just a heads up, this is going to be heading your way sooner rather than later. Let's check back in on these storms that are developing around the 81 corridor. And I'm going to play this here just to see the trend. But first things first, let me just make sure I have like the minimum amount of frames here. But I can see these are starting to strengthen. These are starting to cluster along and strengthen here from Harrisonburg to Staunton to Waynesboro to Charlottesville. So for those in the metro, in the metro areas, the Potomac River, along the Potomac River here, you're gonna want to keep your eyes open because this is the next round. That is the next round that'll be heading our way. There's still severe thunderstorm watches, kind of sandwiched in between where we are here. You got the one here for a good chunk of West Virginia, Southeast Ohio, Southwestern PA. That will go until 10 o'clock. And then this severe thunderstorm watch here that does include the Philadelphia metro, the New York City metropolitan areas up through Hartford, Connecticut, the Hudson River Valley. That will go until midnight. So still got a long ways to go. Could I consider us being under one potentially? Not the realm of possibility. I gotta check the mesoscale discussions while we're at it. What's our mesoscales? All right, mesoscales. All right. 467. So that would be this one, I think. Yeah, I'd be really into this one. Okay. I'm just looking at some of the mesoscales here. Also, let me look at this while we're at it. Mesoscale analysis. This might be a little more crucial here. And I might have to come back on later just because there's really not much going on other than the storms are moving through Salisbury. And we're waiting for this next round. But let me just pull up. Change our sector to right here. And then we'll look at our. I want to do. Radar. I want to do here. Let's look at our cape. Surface-based cape. Actually got some little less unstable air because of the cloud cover that we have here, at least on the surface-based. Let me look at some other ones here before I really jump the gun on this. Let's do our mixed layer. There is some energy, but a lot of it's really confined down to the south and east where a lot of these storms are moving through now. That's the thing. At least as far as some of the energy that we have here. I mean, we're still within the range of, would that be 1,000 joules per kilogram, which is a lot of energy, just to give perspective. Let's look at our dynamics. Let's look at our most unstable layer. We're still waiting on some energy to really kick in here, and also the low level jet potentially as well. Let's look at wind. What do I do here? Surface, no, upper air. Let's look at our 500 millibars. Let's do right now. Hours ago. All right, so the low level jet is starting to try to kick in, which could be interesting later on tonight if these storms do come to fruition. So that is something to note here with this low level jet that's going to be moving through. And basically, that's winds in the middle or lower levels of the atmosphere with the jet stream that are kicking in during the evening, and that will drive the severe weather activity that will create more shear, in a sense, wind shear, which does really help with severe weather, in particular tornadoes. I'm not saying we're gonna get tornadoes, but that low level jet may play a role later on. Let's look at our effective shear here. Yeah, it's looking like it might increase to some degree later tonight with some of these storms. So that's not the most promising. Frontogenesis, I'm looking at a lot of this as well. So forgive me, I'm looking at a lot of this on the fly. Some information that I'm looking at here just to give an idea of what could be happening. Effective helicity. And let's look at our hodograph maps here. Someone could use it for severe weather, but not the best looking hodographs. There's a tornado activity, so that is promising. Um, Maintenance in a new severe thunderstorm warning came out for that storm along 81. So those storms are starting to really strengthen and pick up steam. So that's not good. I will say within the last 3 hours, our Cape has really started to drop somewhat. But again, I don't want you to let your guard down. This could still have enough energy to really be problematic, in particular in our southern counties. So, yeah, forgive me. I was looking at some mesoscale analysis here, but basically, you want to be on alert for these storms. They're going to be moving through later tonight across areas along the Potomac River, Central Maryland, Southern Maryland, and a new severe thunderstorm warning just came out as well for this storm system that's out towards Winchester and Front Royal. So these storms are picking up speed and they will be problematic throughout the evening, I'm afraid. So for those in Frederick County and Montgomery County and PG, Charles counties along the Potomac River, within the next 2 hours, these storms will be heading up your direction here. Now, pull up the warnings here, but this new warning for goodness, this is a lot of counties in Virginia. So Shenandoah, Southern Frederick County, Virginia, Warren, Clark, Page, um, North Central Rappahannock, Northwestern Fauquier counties, um, the city of Winchester, East Central Hardy County in West Virginia, um, Southeastern Hampshire County, West Virginia, is in this severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. This one's moving at 55. That's a mean clip. So let me do a track on this. 55 miles per hour and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are the main threat. So I think this is good. I'm going to loop this to double check. That's going to be... I think that's a good track, but 55, goodness, that's racing along, and it looks like it might be racing at that speed. It's moving at a pretty good clip. So To give perspective, that will be heading towards, let's say, Leesburg around 9 o'clock at this clip. That top of the hour. That's pretty fast, and it's still along the 81 corridor. And then Sterling 906, and then let's talk in some broad fashion about Montgomery County here. This would get to Germantown after 9 o'clock here, so we would be talking about quarter after nine, maybe 9:30, depending on the speed and trajectory here. Tyson's there at 9:16. Gaithersburg around 9:20. If this speed and trajectory does hold, Rockville shortly after that, but that's the same deal. So a little bit of a heads up here. Silver Spring would be around 9:30 with this. So this is racing along very quickly and will be impacting Montgomery County if it continues to move at this clip in about 60 to 90 minutes. So do be on alert here in Montgomery County for this thunderstorm. And then this southern one here that is warned, that's going to be the storms down in Madison and Orange, Rockingham, Page, Albemarle, Greene counties, Augusta County, and then the city of Harrisonburg. This one is moving at 40. So let me just get the track off, and I'm going to do a quick trajectory check of this. It might be moving a little bit east-northeast here. So I'll do this, and I'll just give you a rough time frame. Again, this might be a little extrapolated, so to speak, but I want to give you an idea of when to expect this to move through. So to give perspective here, this storm will be approaching Stafford at about 9:50, 10 o'clock. I'm just looking for it real quick. There's Bleak, Midland. There's Stafford Courthouse. So we'll call it around 10 o'clock if that does hold at its current trajectory. There's Aquia Harbor, Dale City, and then if we were to start talking Southern Maryland here, I mean, there's Indian Head after 10 o'clock. Potomac Heights, same deal. Dahlgren about 10:25, and then Port Tobacco, La Plata, 10:30 if that were to hold. But that's very, 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 very preliminary. Very preliminary if that were to come to fruition. So take that timing with a grain of salt, a huge grain of salt, if you will. So that's the big picture right now. And I'm going to take a short break. Hopefully I'll be back around 9 o'clock here, regroup. But for right now, this is what we have. We have these clusters of thunderstorms that are turning severe, that have strong winds and are moving rather quickly. We have these storms that are down around the Ocean City area at the moment still. Actually, that image might be a little bit old. I might have to go back. I might have to go back to another radar here. Yeah, I think these storms are pretty much over Ocean City at the moment. Yep, they're pretty much over Ocean City, and there's no really good radar to look at this with. So that's unfortunate for right now. Hopefully, Dover can get fixed within that time frame, but even though there's thunderstorms in the area, that's a little risky. But we have this cluster around OC and Salisbury. That was round one that went through Southern Maryland. Round two is starting to commence, and there's activity forming from north of Tappahannock. There's actually a small storm here in far southern St. Mary's County around Piney Point and St. George Island. That's popping up, a small thunder shower, if you will. But Charlottesville, Waynesboro, all the way up to Winchester and Front Royal, along the 81 corridor, we got this round two that's forming, and that's going to be heading in our direction. So we need to stay on alert here in central and southern Maryland within the next 2 to 4 hours for this activity to be moving through. So I'll be back, probably do some live coverage. Also, there will be likely weather aware days for Saturday and Sunday because of the heat and humidity and another chance at storms. And I'll talk about this real quickly while I have you here. Let's do Think off on our alerts. And let's talk models here. And I'll pull up as I take off our storm reports. Let's do GFS. So I'll show you this real quickly. Well, I got you. So there's round two. That's round one, and then round two later on. And this was from earlier in the evening. This was the evening scan of the GFS. There's gonna be one later on tonight with more information. But there's the storms moving through late, and then that passes through, and then I don't know why it's trying to do this to me now. Slow up on me. It's been doing pretty well most of the stream. There's another round that's going to be forming, and this is going to be a Saturday and Sunday problem here with the more heat and humidity that we will be having. So here is Saturday. Here's another round that's going to be moving through, and if you have any plans during the weekend, you need to be aware of this, and then hopefully once we get past Sunday, we'll be looking better, but Saturday and Sunday do look rather unsettled with chances at showers and thunderstorms, and some could be on the strong side again. So it's been an unsettled weather pattern. Welcome to summer in Maryland, because it seems to be like this. And as we start off the new month, we look to be drier to some degree and marginally cooler. I'll have more details on that once I get to the weather forecast coming up at the end of the week. But that's what we're looking at for this system, and then there may be another one towards the middle of next week, but that's really early to say. But right now, at this very moment, this is where we stand in terms of our watches and warnings and what's going on here with our severe weather occurrences. So stay alert. Stay tuned to a source of weather information. There's still tornado warnings east of Pittsburgh. Goodness. And New York City's under a warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds. This does include pretty much the rest of the 5 boroughs: Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Bronx, up into the Hudson River Valley, Westchester County. Okay. But if you do have loved ones up that way towards the New York City area, the Hudson River Valley, northeastern New Jersey, that's going to be heading their way, and then eventually southwest Connecticut. But around here, we got our storms popping up. They're developing. I'm seeing good amounts of lightning here with this more northern storm here towards Winchester. But I would imagine these storms to the south are picking up steam as well over towards Charlottesville. So we'll have to really watch these over the next couple of hours. Stay tuned to our source of weather information. I will hopefully be back in about 45 minutes with more. But keep your eyes to the sky. Stay alert. I'm Jay Mitchell for 4-0 WX.